Unbelievable, great day planned for you people.
Oh, guys, it's all happening today.
This is it. This is when the boys show up and
boys are here.
Bring their awesome. How many of you are enjoying your first Supernatural convention? I like it. I like it a lot. Welcome to your fantasies. Welcome to everything you hold dear on the television coming to life in front of you, and it's going to be awesome and fabulous. And we're going to start on a very high note with a man we don't get to see very often, but when we do, it's always a treat because he's a badass. He's a fabulous actor, wonderful man, and a United States Marine. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Beaver!
Hello.
Hello.
Very subtle entrance you got there, Jim.
Hello, sir.
Well, I'm not being paid to act right now.
Oh! This is the real
This
Jim.
is the real Jim Beaver here.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Oh, Beaver here.
Yeah, lots.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be out here.
No. This is yours. You're going to face that direction. They're here for
Here to
you.
talk to you.
Oh, they're here?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah. They love you, Jim. There he goes. Jacksonville, Jim Beaver. Have a good time. We'll see you in a bit.
Get off the stage. There you go. Good. I like it alone, just us. So, you guys got up this morning. Oh wait, it's nearly 3. That's morning for me. So, hi. 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 No. You. Hi. 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 As you can tell, I had a good night's rest. So, oh. Wow. You guys checked in late, huh? Wow. This is cool. I haven't seen this many people since my parole hearing. Okay, well, we've only got 3 or 4 minutes here, so let's get started. I'm kidding. We've got 8. Hi.
Hi, Jim. Thank you for being here with us again today. Thank you. I wanted to ask you, a few years ago, you were on a little mini-series called Harper's Island.
Yeah.
I really love the mini-series, and I was just wondering if you could share any fun stories or favorite memories of working on filming it.
Okay, sure. Harper's Island was a treat. It was weird. I mean, usually they give you a script and you look through it, you figure out whether you're the bad guy or the good guy, and you figure out, oh, I'm going to get killed at the end of this, or I'm going to be the good guy and I'm going to survive, or whatever. They gave us this entire series, and none of us knew if we were going to live or die, and none of us knew if we were the bad guy, which makes acting a little difficult, because you have to play it so that when they get to episode 13 and reveal who the bad guy is, everything you've done up until then has to fit, except they don't tell you whether you're going to be it. So it was a really weird acting experience. Every Friday or so, they would call one of us and say, you're dead next week. And we would all like turn our phones off on Thursday night, hoping that if they couldn't get to us, then they would kill somebody else. It was a strange experience. It was really kind of cool. I made it most of the way through the series. That doesn't really give anything away because I say it doesn't. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Eric Kripke was very kind. He arranged things so that I could keep doing spots on Supernatural while I was doing Harper's Island. So I didn't miss any Supernatural episodes, even though I was a series regular on something else, which is kind of rare because usually the networks aren't very nice about that. They say, we're putting you on this show, you can't be on that show. So, yeah, it was great. And I played a character named Sheriff Mills. I was slightly less attractive than the one you're familiar with. But she has advantages I don't. Yeah, that was Harper's Island in a nutshell. Well, it was a really big nutshell, but thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. So I have a question as a casual lyricist and playwright. What has been your favorite subject to write about, or where's the best place you found your inspiration on subject?
Best thing to write about. I wish I knew. Most of the things I've written, certainly most of the things I've written for myself, out of my own inspiration, have been things that just occurred to me at the moment as an interesting idea or interesting story. Probably my most successful play came out of my own life experience, but most everything else just came out of some, oh, what if this happened or that happened? And sometimes, in a few of them, I just started writing to see where it would go without knowing. Excuse me, I don't have a very good handle on that because, which kind of explains why I haven't written that many plays. People with great imaginations and great follow-through can come up with a lot of stuff. I struggle to come up with ideas, even though ideas are the easy part. When I was writing television back in the 80s, I used to get all these calls from people I went to high school with. And they'd say, oh, you're writing in Hollywood now. I have this great idea for a movie. If you write it, we can split the money. And I said, if I write it, I take the money. Because writing it's the hard part. I imagine everybody out here has had an idea for a movie at some point. But when you sit down and face that blank computer screen or blank legal pad, that's where the hard work starts. And I don't feel particularly gifted in that area. I write pretty well when I get around to writing, but coming up with something to write about, something that I feel like I need to say, that's tough for me. So I don't do it very often. Also, it's so much harder work than acting. So I'd much prefer to just sit around home and wait for the phone to ring. Thank you. I don't think I answered that very well, but you know, at least you know you came to the wrong place. Thank you. Hi.
Hi.
You're applauding her patience, right?
Thank you. Appreciate that. I just wanted to say my friend Marie and I enjoyed your photo op yesterday.
Thank you.
And my question is, when you were forced to leave us in the show, were there any props or things that you took with you?
Well, I tried to take Sheriff Mills, but she and her husband disagreed. But let me see, did I take anything? I didn't take the flask. I was hoping they would need it. Let me see. You know, they never burned the leather flask holder. So, I think I took some. No, I got so many hats of my own, I don't need theirs. I know I took something, but I can't remember. Oh yeah, there was, I took a little kitchen ornament from Bobby's Kitchen. It was this little wide-mouthed frog that just dish brushes in.
It was in the Titanic.
It's because it was the only thing that wasn't nailed down. Jared, the day I left, came to me though and said, "Hey, you can't leave the show without taking something." And I didn't want to say I already took a frog. He said, "Here," and he gave me this box, and it had these 3 little brass owls in it that sat on the shelf in Bobby's Kitchen. And I looked at them, and I was very touched and bewildered. And because Jared doesn't do all that much nice for me. So I took them, and then a couple of years later, I auctioned them off, and one of you has them. I mean, not necessarily one of you, but somebody out there in the fandom has them, and they're signed and probably sitting in a box in the basement. So yeah, I got something. Yeah, what I took from that show didn't have anything to do with souvenirs. It was much more important than that. Thank you. Hi.
Hello, this is a little basic, but I was just wondering why you don't come to conventions very often, because we love it when you do.
Well, thank you. Why I don't, I come to just about every convention I'm invited to. So, on very rare occasions, I can think of twice, maybe, 3 times maybe in the last 10 years that I was invited and didn't go for some reason. So, yeah, I go every time they ask me, just about. So, you know, but they gotta ask, because otherwise I'm just crashing the joint. And when the joint is 3,000 miles away from where I live, it makes it a little harder, you know. But I almost crashed Burbank last year, mainly because my kid wanted to go. But it didn't work out. But yeah, I'll go anywhere. I'll go to an envelope opening. I'm desperate for attention. Thank you. Hi.
Hello there. Thank you for your service. It's really appreciated.
Thank you.
My question is, what do you like about the character of Bobby Singer, and what don't you like about the character of Bobby Singer?
Well, I don't like that he's dead. Anybody out there like that he's dead? No! I can't hear the ones who do. Bring back Bobby. You're talking to the wrong guy. Well, that's flattering. What I like about him is he's smart and funny and sarcastic, and he's much braver and stronger than I am. He's generally smarter. and he's awesomer than I am. That's what you meant, right? Yeah. He's, in a lot of ways, he's everything that I would like to be. And he's a good man, and he doesn't let his demons get the best of him. What I don't like about him is he's dead.
Thank you.
Hi.
Semper Fi, Marine.
Semper Fi back at you, bud.
Thank you, sir. I just wanted to ask, to me, it feels like there's a lot of parallels between being a hunter and being in the military, as far as devotion and fighting a good fight. And being a Marine yourself, I was wondering, how do you draw upon your experiences being a radio man in the Marine Corps towards acting for Bobby Singer or any kind of similar role?
I don't know that it's occurred to me that often when I was actually playing a role, but I mean, certainly there are technical things like handling weapons and things like that it's good to have something practical to draw on when you're. Of course, when I was in the Marines, they had muskets, so it's a little different now. But any earlier, they had rocks. I guess there's in the Marines we're taught to charge toward the sound of the gunfire, and certainly that's the kind of approach that the good hunters on Supernatural have. It's not about packing up and regrouping. It's about taking out the enemy as quickly and fastly. That's fastly, faster. It's better than bigly. Quickly as possible, and so I guess maybe there's some of that sense of to help with the problem, what's the solution? But most of that stuff turns up in the writing. I'm mainly the interpreter of it, the conduit that the writing gets, audible and visual. But I'm sure there's a subliminal or a subconscious connection. I was in the Marines for 8 years and I've never played one. I had to play a bunch of Army guys. It's just not the same. No offense, Army guys. I like that. Anyway, thank you for your service, man. Take care. Who's the old guy? Hi.
Hi. So I know Mark's point of view and thoughts on this, but I was wondering what your experience was about the whole Crowley Bobby kiss.
You know it was coming.
Years ago, someone asked Madonna what kissing Dwight Yoakam was like. And she said it was like a dirt sandwich. I only wish. In my case, it was a dirt sandwich with stubble. No, it was the most romantic day of my life. That's what you wanted to hear, isn't it? I don't lose as much sleep over it as Mark does. But I'm not as needy as Mark.
But do you want to know what he told me about it?
What did he tell you about it?
He says you have very soft lips.
Yeah. Well, I glossed up for him. He's very sensitive. I think I made you throw up. No, it was a day at work. Some days you kill demons, sometimes you get king of hell. It's, you know, they paid me enough. So I did it. You know the old joke about we've established that we're just haggling over the price. Tell your neighbors if they haven't heard that joke. But yeah, that was pretty much it. They paid me enough. So thank you so much for bringing that up. Hi.
Hi. Since Bobby is such a father figure to Dean and Sam, I was wondering if Jensen and Jared are like your own sons to you.
Aww. More like pets. No, that's not true at all. And the answer is no, they are like my friends. We don't have any kind of father-son relationship. We have the relationship of friends, colleagues. I just saw them in the photo op for the first time in many months, and it was really wonderful to see them again. I enjoy them. They're so good to me. They're great friends, and I hope they feel the same way. They act like they do. They're not that good actors. So I can only presume they feel the same way. We're colleagues. We got to work together, but we hadn't worked together long before we realized, I think, certainly before I realized how lucky I was to be working with them, because they're good guys. But no, I never give them advice, and they try not to give me any. But they're young, they can't help it. Thanks. Hi. You nervous?
Yeah.
Really? Why?
You're cool. What's you?
You should talk to my daughter. I'm about the least cool person on the planet.
I think there's a lot of people out here that disagree.
Well, take it up with her then.
Okay, so my question is, Bobby's famous word, idiots. Everybody knows it, but what if you had the opportunity to change it? So it could be any word, but it would replace idiots. Would you, and what would that be?
Well, in the famous words of Bugs Bunny, maroons. I think that would fit. You guys have never heard ages before, and one day in season 2, Bobby called Sam and Dean a couple of maroons. You'd all be wearing t-shirts that said that now, wouldn't you?
Probably.
See, it's got nothing to do with me, it's just words. I guess, you know, you're asking me to be creative up here, and that's the last thing I'm up for. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. From one vet to another, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
My question is based off of, my husband and I recently became the adoptive fathers to a beautiful 6-year-old girl, and I didn't necessarily realize that I would step into that role as a father so quickly and so easily. And the episode that I have a question about is when you were confronting the ghost of Bobby's father and said that you had adopted 2 of the best boys you could ever hope to raise. Was it difficult for you to step into that role, or did you pull off of you being a father and it came naturally to you?
I'm sure being a father in real life fed the subtext of that scene, mostly unconsciously. I just, most of the time when I'm performing a scene, I don't do, there are real exceptions to this, but most of the time I don't do a lot of what I just call sense memory, trying to find, okay, where's a place in my life that feels kind of like this that I can draw on. I don't do a lot of that consciously. I think I probably do it unconsciously. I just imagine what it feels like to feel like Bobby felt at that moment. And what I remember from playing that moment was just the absolute disgust with Bobby's father and the pride that Bobby had, not in what he had done, but in the boys he had associated himself with. And I don't remember thinking much in terms of being a parent, but just being proud and a little proud of himself. That compared to his old man, Bobby did all right. So it's kind of a complicated question, but the simplest answer is not consciously, but I think it was in there somewhere. Yeah. Thank you. Congratulations on your enlarging family.
So I really enjoy your work, Jim. And one of the...
Everybody does it. Thank you.
Well, I'm really, my question is about, one of my favorite things about Supernatural is the world building it does with secondary characters and those relationships. And my favorite is, of course, Rufus and Bobby. Everybody scream because Rufus and Bobby.
Just trying to remember who Rufus is.
I like to call them Rhubarb.
Rhubarb. And the name is Moore. Just don't put a slash between them. Yeah, I know about that stuff. Hi. Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
I guess my question is, the relationship started, the friendship started out with, but then kind of seemed to evolve, and with you guys coming back last season. I wanted to talk to you to talk a little bit about how you perceive that kind of friendship, and also, what do you think happened in Omaha?
Well, when the interesting thing about doing series television is that it will introduce characters to each other, not necessarily having an idea of what that combination is going to be like. And I remember, I think it's Weekend at Bobby's, that Bobby and Rufus first meet in face-to-face on screen. Clearly they have a history. I didn't know anything about that history when we played it. I don't think Stephen had any idea about the script when we did it, but because he kept making up his own words. And I thought, oh, this is going to be interesting. I certainly didn't at the beginning get the sense that they had this long-standing, grumpy old men sort of vibe. What do you call it when one of them's old and one of them's young and handsome? It's not really grumpy old men. Yeah, well, at any rate, but every time they brought Rufus back to interact with Bobby, it seemed, the relationship seemed to have grown, not just the current relationship, but the past history seemed to have grown, until we ended up in, and then there were none, finding out that there was this real negative history between them, which I still don't know what it was. Omaha is a mystery to me, it's a mystery to Stephen, and it's a mystery to the production staff, and I hope they reveal it someday, but I've been told they don't want to. But that could just be rumor. That could just be misdirection. The entire 17th season might be about Omaha.
Well, I have to say, I would totally watch a Rufus Bobby spin-off.
Well, thank you. I hear that so often from everybody except network executives. It'd be cool, and I know that you guys would be there for something like that. Because you guys would be there for a series about a can of corn that was in an episode. You guys are devoted. So, yeah, and as to Omaha, like I said, I don't know what happened there. Obviously, it's something Bobby feels a lot of guilt over. Probably not as much as killing Rufus, but still. Stephen and I talked a little bit about what we thought happened in Omaha, but it was just us speculating the same way you guys speculate. So, I'd love to know, and I hope the show's on long enough for us to find out. Thank you. Hi.
Hi, Jim. So this is my first convention ever. And
Congratulations.
I'm here with my big brother who you just spoke to about parenthood and everything. And my question is kind of settling a bet between us. As Bobby, who was the favorite son, Dean or Sam?
It's like asking which is my favorite finger. Well, let me see. This one doesn't do much. That's an impossible question. It's, as probably anyone who's ever been a parent knows, it's, unless one of your kids is Charles Manson, it's probably kind of hard to pick a favorite. I don't think Bobby has a favorite. I think he may have a closer or more vulnerable relationship with Dean, but that may just be because they've had closer, more vulnerable scenes together. I never look at them as one chosen over the other or one preferred over the other. And if I don't, then I guess Bobby doesn't. So, I don't come up with what Bobby says, but I sure come up with what he thinks. So it's not a definitive answer for you, and except maybe it is. So, Bobby doesn't play favorites with the boys. I don't think. I guess. Thank you. Completely unsatisfactory answer. Hi.
Really appreciate the things that you're saying and doing in the public, your public speech, we'll say, and some of the writing that you're doing now. I am one of the other people that are here. I'm a writing teacher, so I teach at the university level, And actually, we're going to be doing some teaching in the coming year about rhetoric. And so I don't know if that relates a lot to what you're doing, but I just wanted to know your thoughts and maybe what you would say to us and to my students about just kind of how they process a lot of the rhetoric that we're hearing today in the media and in the news.
I hate to disagree with anyone in the current administration. Oh, you've read my stuff. I hate to disagree with anyone in the current administration, but there really is such a thing as facts. There is not, as was said today, such a thing as alternative facts. There are facts, and what I'm getting at here isn't political. It's about making sure that what you're saying or writing or expressing is verifiably true. It's not about, I just saw something right before this online that was perfect. I don't remember the precise quote, but George Orwell wrote in 1984. That's not when he wrote it, that's what he wrote. He wrote it like 1949, in that great novel about a dystopian universe where the government controlled everything, they said to the public, do not believe the evidence of your eyes and ears. We will tell you what is true. We cannot survive as a species like that, much less as good writers. You have to find out what is true and don't just accept what you're told is true. And that goes for politics, it goes for religion, it goes for cultural differences, it goes for everything. The Bible says you shall know the truth and the truth shall make you free. That's a religious statement in context, but it is a meaningful statement in any context. And without getting too deep, check your facts, make sure they are facts, and don't take anybody's word that they aren't or are.
Films like Crimson Peak, what is your favorite part about the Victorian era?
What is my favorite part about the Victorian era? I can tell you it's not those collars they wear. You know, they talk a lot, and you hear it when you're in costume wardrobe rooms and you're doing a film in the Victorian era, or on a show like Deadwood that I did, where the women have to wear these tight corsets and bustles and all these uncomfortable things. You hear actresses talk a lot about that sort of stuff, and I suspect that those things are really uncomfortable. I haven't worn a corset in a very long time, despite the possible need. But those Victorian era collars for men are torturous. They get caught in your beard, which usually in that era is about out to here. And if you've shaved it all, they rub your neck so raw that I remember we did a ballroom scene, Charlie Hunnam and Tom Hiddleston, and, well, pretty much the whole cast in Crimson Peak. And the second day of shooting the ballroom scene, in the makeup trailer, they were putting makeup to cover the red stripes on all of our necks from the previous day. I don't like that, but that's not what you ask, is it? It's a fascinating period to study, to visit. It's not a place I would want to live for all kinds of reasons. Among other things, I like the fact that women vote. And back then they were still trying to figure out how to get into that booth. Much of the social, economic, cultural, political world at that time was not very conducive to the kind of freedoms we expect out of our country and most civilized countries expect. I think the one thing I do like about that period that I wish was here now was there was a true sense of elegance, that people knew the difference between dressing up for cutting the grass and going to dinner. Even with the collars, I kind of, you know, I wasn't around for the days when people wore tuxedos to dinner, but there's something kind of cool about looking at it, and I miss the kind of elegance that characterized a lot of the world. I think, of course, a whole lot of people didn't have a chance for that kind of elegance then, and a few more have that chance now. So, you know, in every period there's something good and something bad. I think we've got more good now, but we've got enough bad to keep our hands full. So, thank you. Hi.
Hi. So, what was it like working with Jared and Jensen in their pranking ways?
Tiring. No, you know, my experience was not filled with pranks. Every once in a while there was something, but there's a little something on every set. Supernatural set is very loosey-goosey. It's, everybody comes in to do a good solid day's work, and we get it done, but we have an awful lot of fun doing it. It's not so much pranks as it is just banter and jokes and making each other embarrassed or disgusted or Jared used to be much better at making people disgusted. He's mellowed somewhat as a parent, I think. Or maybe he's just like me, old and tired. On a daily basis, it's just fun. When I go back, it's like going to a family reunion where I like everybody. We joke around, we kid, you know, people make faces when you're trying to do a serious scene, and they twist your toes when you're in bed dying. But it's not, the real pranks occur, you know, from what I hear, once or twice a season, if that. Mainly it's just a bunch of people having fun. If you've ever been to a kindergarten, you'll have a general idea. They're not doing elaborate pranks. They're just acting like 5-year-olds. That's pretty much Supernatural in a nutshell. Thank you. Hi.
I know you have an upcoming episode on Criminal Minds Beyond Borders.
That's right.
Can you tell us what that was like? And did you work with Gary Sinise at all?
I worked almost entirely with Gary Sinise. Not completely entirely, but yeah, we worked together. He's a lovely gentleman and a wonderful actor. We had a good time working together, and we didn't talk politics because I wanted to stay on the show. It's generally my rule. Yeah, we had a great time. I don't know when Criminal Minds Beyond Borders comes back on the air, but I know that it was an unusual situation in that we shot it something like 5 or 6 months before it will air. So I think my episode will be on in March sometime. But that was about 13 years ago. My late wife and I bought a house a block from her office at one of the studios, and this past fall when I did Criminal Minds Beyond Borders was the first time I ever got to work at that studio. Bought it hoping we could both walk to work. Didn't happen for a long time, but that was kind of cool. So I don't know when it'll be on, but I had a great time doing it. And all of my scenes, I think, were with Kim Rhodes. So that was fun. One of the great things about Supernatural is that there are all these people who used to be producers on Supernatural who now have their own shows. And so we get to come back. And yeah, I think everything I've done in the last 6, 8 months has been with someone in the cast who was also on Supernatural. So, you know, you stick around long enough and it becomes like a big club where you know everybody at work. That's kind of cool. So, thank you. Hi. Oh, hi. Hi.
Hi. So, I'm really happy to see you on New Adventures of Peter and Wendy on YouTube. And I was wondering what you thought about working on that show and the role of George Starling and having the whole newspaper thing getting taken over in the next season?
The New Adventures of Peter and Wendy. How many of you have seen that? That's my other series. Look it up. It's a web series. You're going to break the internet. Good. Sometimes I think it needs to be broken. Like a Bronco. The New Adventures of Peter and Wendy is Peter Pan and Wendy Darling grown up in the modern world. And I play Wendy's father. And it's a lot of fun. I did it because my friend Paula Rhodes, who plays Wendy, is also the producer, and she asked me to. So, you know, I go in once every 18 months or so and do 5 episodes in one day, and because it's a web series, and go home. But I have a great deal of fun. They're fun. They're funny shows. I think you'll like it. Look it up. The New Adventures of Peter and Wendy.
Woo! Now we got new Kim Beaver stuff to watch. New Kim Beaver programming. Jacksonville, how was it? Kim Beaver, everybody! Thank you, Jacksonville. I want to be an American kid. I want to be an American kid. Hi!
That's as good as it gets from me.
Too bad the mic